For those out there in the Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, or the FBI, this mask should look very familiar. This is the MCU-2P Chemical Protective Mask, or MICI for short. Combined with the C2A1 canister, it is designed to protect against a wide array of chemical agents. I'm going to show you how to properly inspect your mask, so when it comes time to use it, you know it's going to work. Now, anyone can actually purchase a mask very similar to this one through the MSA company. So if you don't have one, don't worry, you can get one. Now, the MICI with the canister can protect you against chemical agent vapors down to 0.2 microns in size. As long as it's properly inspected, maintained, and worn correctly, it will work. Now, it's not designed to provide you with oxygen. It can only be worn in an oxygen-rich environment. So, let's get started inspecting our masks. The first thing we're going to inspect is going to be the bottom left-hand strap. There's going to be a circle here with two numbers in it. Those two numbers represent a date. Now, this mask has a 15-year shelf life, so as long as that date is newer than 1994, the mask should be good to go. So, we're going to move right around here to this portion right here. This is where your canister attaches, and this is called the inlet valve assembly. Now, what this is designed for is to allow air to come in through the mask, but not to go out. So to inspect this, we're going to take our thumbs, we're going to push it in, and we're going to take out this entire piece. So this is what comes out. Now, this piece breaks down into three further pieces. We have the wagon wheel assembly, and we have a clear plastic disc. Now, this clear plastic disc is the most important part right here. This is what prevents the air from coming back out through this assembly, but allows air to come in. So we want to check this for any rips or tears, set it on a flat surface, and if it starts curling up on the edges, that means it's dry rotting and we need to get a new one. So that's how we inspect that. This piece right here is called a defogger. Now, what this does is when you breathe in, it guides the air up and across the front of your mask. Now, this prevents your face shield from fogging up on you when wearing the mask. And the last piece, we're going to check this for any rips or tears. This prevents the gasket from getting sucked into the canister when you're breathing in. So if they're all good, we're going to put them back together. Rubber disc first, pinwheel assembly with the two flags on it facing upward, and that just pushes straight onto the center of the defogger. Now, because of how the defogger works, we want to make sure that this end, the open end, is pointing upward when we put it back into our masks. So you're going to put it in from the inside, line it up correctly, and then you're going to pull the wagon wheel assembly through the front, ensuring that it's flush with the rest of the mask, like so. So that's how we inspect that piece. We're going to keep working around here, go straight across. This is called the front voice emitter. Now, this piece, if it's broken, cannot be replaced on the mask, so we have to make sure that it's good. And to check it, you're going to take two fingers, you're going to place it on the sides of the front voice emitter. We're going to make sure it's not loose. The reason we're using just two fingers is because if we grab it and crank down, we can rip this piece off, and that would ruin the mask, so we don't want to do that. So, that piece is good. We're going to move straight down. This is your drinking tube assembly and your outlet valve assembly. The drinking tube, this right here, allows you to drink from a canister while wearing the mask. To check this, we're going to hold it up to the light, and we're going to stretch it and make sure we can't see any light shining through. We're also going to check for any signs of dry rot. So if that piece is good, we can wrap it back around and put it back into its holder. Now, to check the outlet valve assembly, we're going to lift up this black flap, and we're going to see a black valve cover there. Now, this valve cover allows air to go out through the bottom of the mask, but not to come back in. So we want to check and make sure that it's not ripped or torn. And as long as that's good, we can fold the black cover back down, and we're done inspecting that part of the mask. So, next, we're going to move over to the side voice emitter. Now, the side voice emitter projects your voice from the side, so people don't have to be directly in front of you to hear you. It also makes it easy when using a radio to hold it on the side when talking. Now, to inspect this piece, we're going to take it and we're going to spin it counterclockwise. We're going to take off this metal ring. Underneath that is the voice emitter itself. To take this out, you're going to take your thumb from the inside of the mask, and you're going to push out and take out the voice emitter. And underneath that, this is what we need to be checking. This is a rubber gasket. This is what gives us a seal between the voice emitter and the mask. Without this, air could flow in and out of the mask. So this is very important. We're going to check it and make sure it's not ripped or torn. We're going to set it on a flat surface and make sure it's not curling up on the edges, because again, that's signs of dry rot. If it's good, we're going to take it, put it back into the mask. We're going to take our voice emitter, place that on top, and we're going to take our metal ring, put that on top, and we're going to tighten it back down. So that's it for all the major components on the front of the mask. So let's move around to the back side. First, most obvious thing is the head harness. Now the head harness, the way we're going to inspect this is we're going to look for any signs of fraying or tears. We're going to make sure that each strap has some elasticity to it, and we're also going to check the metal piece at the end of each strap and make sure that it's not broken or starting to rust. So if our head harness is good, we're going to take it, fold it over to the front of the mask. So now we have access to the inside of the mask. Now there's not a whole lot to inspect in here, but what is in here is important. We have our nose cup assembly, which is the black part in here. Now on this nose cup assembly, we have two nose cup valves. To inspect those, you're going to look from the inside of the nose cup, and you're going to make sure that everything is flush and smooth. That's a sign that the valves are installed correctly. We're also going to check and make sure that they're not ripped or torn. And to give you an example of what they look like, I've taken it out for you. This is what it looks like. This side is flat and smooth. This is what we want to see inside the nose cup. This side, which has a wagon wheel look to it, we want to be facing the outside. What these are for is these allow for us to breathe out, and it forces the air out through the bottom of the mask, and when we breathe in, it forces air into the nose cup. And what this allows is this allows for the front of the mask, the lens, to not fog up. So these are very important as well, because if something's wrong with these, your mask will fog up and you won't be able to see. Next thing we're inspecting in here is our drinking tube assembly on the inside. Now this is where you drink. You're basically going to check this and make sure that it's not torn in any way, and make sure that it's all intact. And that's it for the major components inside the mask. The last thing we're going to check on the mask overall is for something called disbonding. Now disbonding is where the rubber separates from the metal of the mask. So to check this, we're going to fold down the gray rubber, we're going to fold up the black rubber of the nose cup, and we're going to check underneath there where the gray rubber of the mask meets up with the metal piece down there. We're going to make sure it's not separating. Once we've checked it down there, we're going to check it everywhere else on the mask, from the side voice emitter, front voice emitter, to the inlet valve assembly. Also, we're going to check where this clear rubber meets the gray rubber. Now this is important along this whole seal, because this is where your lens meets the rest of the mask, and we want to make sure that nothing is separating there. So we've inspected all the major components of our chemical protective mask. Your mask should now be properly inspected and ready for use. So if a situation comes up where you need to wear your mask, you can feel safe knowing that it will work when you need it to. Thank you.